Hello, fellow humans. So I am going to start off with some shufflemancy today. I feel like everything about today was like pre-guided, and I'm just like jumping into here, getting into what I'm supposed to be doing. Oh no, y'all can't see all my stuff I got over there. I started like peg ratting in Scorpio season. I have so much stuff that I have to clean up because that we saw that was like a Halloween bowl. So much stuff I have to clean up from the days where I allowed myself to not be okay. Because sometimes you just got to honor it. I recently heard, and I hope y'all don't mind me bringing up this guy. I don't think anybody is off limits if it's a teachable moment, if there's something I can share from it, and I'm not trying to be a douche, or I'm not extremely for somebody who rubs everybody the wrong way. I'm gonna look at this from a higher perch perspective, I guess. But I was listening to Donald Trump give a speech, right? He said, "You know what you do if you have depression? You don't just lie down. You just work. You just work through it, and you never realize that you have depression because you have no time to think about it." And I was like, that is some horrible advice. But that also says a lot about his mindset. If he is measuring your success or his success in alignment with the amount of depression that he pushed through, how much must this man dislike himself inside or dislike his circumstances, or how much pain has he probably had to deal with that he didn't deal with? He instead pushed himself to the top in a way that is transmutation, turning your pain into power. But when that pain is unhealed, it sort of creates a monster, like a tyrant, right? The first thing I have on my paper today, because I started sitting down and taking notes about stuff that was coming to mind in the morning instead of scrolling. Because I was scrolling at first for inspiration, but I realized, like, hold on, I get inspiration when I'm just sitting here. And then it's like purely original content. Like we might all be getting a similar message that day, but it's not the same as everybody sharing the same meme because we all like we're on the same wave. You know what I mean? I'm actually looking forward to a day where there are just the memes, a accent to the message, like an easy way to get it to be understood, which I believe was probably the original plan in the first place. I didn't get that quite away right away. So before I do the shufflemancy, I guess I have to hit my first bullet point, which was explaining projection. What I just explained to you about the Donald Trump thing was a projection. In his case, that is how he solved the problem based upon his experience and where he came from. You see life through your filter, right? Based upon how you were raised, what happened to you, what you were taught. You have collected a whole file on how you perceive things. Everybody else has the same database within them. It's curated to that particular person, right? So, for example, I hate wigs, right? That's because I hate how they look on me. Every time I try it, it never goes right. So I'm like, I don't do that. I hate all the trouble that it takes to put on a full face of makeup. Like I love the way it looks at the end, but I hate all that stuff clumped on it and like how hard it is to take it off at night. And I actually realized after learning how to do makeup and going through that whole Instagram makeup phase and like messing up my eyebrows, going through all the beauty techniques, that I prefer what I look like naturally. Just like this, like literally. I took my little sponge today. This is like liquid blush. I did like this. I put on some lip gloss and some mascara. I prefer looking like this over any other looks that are available, right? So sometimes I have to catch myself when I see somebody that I find beautiful, and I'm like, why does she have on that wig? Or why she got on all that makeup? Because according to her Rolodex, that's what makes her feel beautiful. What is in my Rolodex is something completely different based upon my experience. That is how projection works. Uh, you can feel completely one type of way about something based on your experience, and that only applies to you. That is for you, right? This person had a whole nother experience that led them to feel like that's what they needed to do or what they needed to look like. When somebody's projecting on you, they are putting their opinions and their database and their profile over your life. They are speaking their ideas based upon their experience, which might not line up with yours, and it might not be the right advice for you. A lot of us are not doing what we need to do for ourselves because we are taking other people's projections as estimates for our future, as the determination of what is to come based upon what they know or what they've experienced, when that is not even necessarily what is in alignment with your storyline. You might be vibrating somewhere else completely different, but you're taking advice from somebody who is putting their estimation of their self-worth on you. And it's bringing you like down. So that was the first note I had on here, because other people's projections block you from your intuition. Your intuition is your direct line to source, the messages you get for yourself. Now, say you grew up in a family that had a lot of baggage or karma from past life stuff, right? You came into this family as the golden child. You have a special calling to raise up the vibration of the line because you are that bright as opposed to everybody else who is still in the dark, right? You are going to stand out in all the wrong ways because they don't understand this little light of yours at all, right? But if you had listened to the other people's projections or their ideas of what you could do based upon the darkness that they had been stuck in, you would have never reached for further heights. Your intuition was leading you to help pull the rest of them out of there. This makes me think about Joseph in the Bible. Yes, I love the Bible stories. I just don't like the Bible rules because I'm like, nah, King James, I don't know him. Like, y'all can keep the same tales, and even some of the tales were removed. But anyways, so Joseph, he has a bunch of brothers. He's little. He be chilling, trying to mind his business, just a nice guy. But the other brothers just like hate him because they feel like the dad likes him the most. So they sold him. They sold him off to somebody else. Like, get him away because he's our dad's favorite. We want a chance with Paul, right? So I said David. His name is Joseph. That's a whole different story. Whatever. So Joseph has to go be the slave, but while he's being a slave, he ends up becoming the king's favorite because he really is just a dope dude. It does not matter where he goes. Like, what comes out of him is just blessed. So over time, he speaks so much life and blessing over this king, just giving him advice and stuff, doing his little slave job, that he eventually somehow gets to become king, right? His family didn't see that in him. His brothers later on came by like, oh, that's our bro. Tried to dap him up and everything. Like, sorry, we sold you, bro. We didn't know you was about to be this dude. Because they projected onto them all of their shortcomings. Like, dad doesn't like us because he do this. Well, maybe he needs to be more like me, and then he could appreciate me, whatever the case may be. It's just, they did not see his greatness in him. I don't even know if Joseph saw his greatness in him, but he followed his intuition, which is the direct connection that you have to God. You don't have to know the end outcome. You just follow the feeling. Not nobody, I'm about to say not everyone, nobody has the same feeling you have inside of you that is leading you. You have your own compass. Other people's projections pull you away from your intuition. They are just distractions. So that's my opening message. I didn't even know it was going to go like that because I was trying to go into this shufflemancy thing. So, all right. I am going to hit interesting. The playlist I just randomly picked. Bachelorette party clubbing Thursday morning. All right. I'm hitting shuffle on it, right? And I'm going to click it like 3 times to make it go through 3 songs. And then the third song is like what I usually go with. Let's go. That wasn't where I was supposed to be going with this. Although the other notes I have written down are about a relationship or about relationship dynamics right now. That's baby boy Beyonce. We'll take that, have that confirm whatever you think it confirms. I'm not dealing with this today. Because my next message, one of you has a heart of gold and the other one is broken. This is about a pair. I think this is about a general dynamic for pairs. Where'd I put my glasses? It's time to put on my smart mode. I can't see without my glasses. Like I can see, like I think I have 20/20 vision, but I can't stare at this computer long without them. And I can't get into smart character mode without them. Oh, here they go. Oh. I need to be able to snap too, because I'll be channeling and delivering a message, and then I'll notice something that correlates to something of mine, and I'll be like, and it takes me all off track. Getting into your actual character, like me getting into Aisha, while I'm trying to be a conduit for a message and source, it messes up the whole thing. That's another thing. Like when a client asks me for advice outside of a session, I'd be like, I don't know, don't take my advice. That's just my opinion, because me as a person, that's based on my projection, as opposed to when I clear myself out and say, all right, I'm just delivering a message for you. Like Aisha is cleared out of this. Most of my readings don't match up with my personal advice at all. Like, nah, I'm going to say preserve self, save yourself. But that's just like a human thing. And I'm referring to relationships. If I see you in a relationship being treated bad or less than you need to be treated, I'm going to say, but when I do a reading, I'm able to clearly see, oh, this person has went through this. You went through this. I can see why Source is trying to bring you guys together. So I can give you advice from both ends. And I'm very sympathetic and open-hearted during the session because it's based in love. I'm coming from my heart. So whereas regular Aisha might be like, girl, how long you been in this relationship? Reader Aisha is like, you came here to save this person because they have been trapped in their health cycles for thousands of years. So I can understand why it's difficult for you to release them, even though you are holding on to a rope that is burning your hands. You were assigned to this because you aligned with this in some way, shape, or form. Everything in this life that you have done has led you to be a particular type of person, to be suited for this contract, for this situation, for something that you agreed to when you did not have on a filter, when you were just a pure light being. So one of you has a heart of gold and the other one is broken, appears to be the way the relationship's working. For a very long time, before I knew I had gifts or any of this stuff, I would always tell 211, my bestie, soon to be former husband, that every couple should consist of a rock and a river, somebody who flows and somebody who is solid. And I would say to him, because I'd be like trying to break up and it just would never, because I've never like successfully broken up with anybody. I don't know how to say it. I don't know. I can't deal with the hurt feelings, I guess, because I can feel other people's hurt and just like, no, I get talked in a million circles and I've been stuck in the same relationship for a million trillion years because I can't. This happens in all my relationships. So anyway, I would explain, like me and you, we are both rivers. So through life, we just been floating and it's not anything like solidifying because we don't have a rock. I knew this whole time that he was not my rock. It's just like my flowing nature was going with the flow the whole time. But that's what I wrote down next to the one of you has a heart of gold and the one of you is broken. Somebody's a rock and somebody's a river, but that's necessary. So two rocks together aren't ever gonna, they're gonna build, but where's the emotional connection between them? Where's the love in the home? It's perfunctory. Is that the word I just heard? Let me see now. Told y'all, see, when I'm in channeling mode, some words popping. Perfunctory. Is that a, help me out? It is perfunctory, carried out with a minimum of effort and or reflection. It's just going about in like a way. Like, yes, we have a house. Oh, I have a great example of this, right? So me and my dad text, right? And every time we check in with each other, I'll explain. He's like, hey, what's going on down there? That's how his messages start, right? And I'll tell him what's going on, all the tea, right? And he'll say, never a dull moment, literally for years. That's always his response. My grandmother used to call me Calamity Jane because, like, no matter what I do, something always gonna happen. It's just the fuck around and find out energy I have. There's always something going on. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be a bad thing. Like when I was really traveling a lot as a wedding photographer, I'd give him like my rundown of my schedule, and he'd be like, "Man, never a dull moment," right? Whenever I write him back, he says, "Same old, same old." Nothing new here. All different variations of that, right? So his life is rock. He is a Capricorn rising. Capricorn is in his first house, and his rising is at a Capricorn degree, even though he is technically a Sagittarius rising. But that's how his house is ran. Very Saturnian. I'm messing it up. Saturnian. Right? It's a rock. It's stable. The same thing happens every day. For them, they might switch it up a little bit, but it's switching it up like, hey, are we going out to eat tonight? Or are we going on our quarterly vacation? Like stuff like that, right? As opposed to my Capricorn, my rockness, I had no planets there. I'm sorry, Neptune. That doesn't really count because that's water. I have Aquarius in 6. This means it's random stuff all the time. I don't know what my schedule is. I don't know who I'm gonna have to do what with. It's river, it's flow, right? So I am a Leo rising at the 12th degree. That is a Pisces degree. That's river, but it's like river of lava. 211 is a Pisces rising at the 28th degree. That's a Pisces, water, at a Cancer, water degree. So even though I did not understand astrology, my soul was still trying to tell me, like, hey, you're missing somebody with some earth elements here, because that is going to help you guys better understand relationship dynamics. Don't worry about gender. To tell y'all something messed up, everybody, if you got lucky, you're in the body that matches the gender of your soul, or the energy that your soul has gravitated towards. But a part of the torture programming of the Matrix is some of people did get scrambled up into bodies that don't match their original essence, just so it would be harder for you to find your counterpart or yourself. It's called a sexual misery program. You can type sexual misery program into ascensionglossary.com for more details on that. But some of us are not in the right bodies. When you look at these charts, I can't see no gender, but I can see who belongs with who and what y'all are working through and why y'all agreed to come together. So that's what I wanted to base the rest of today's video on. I guess this is another learn with me video / message thing. Do I need to pull any? Maybe I'll pull some cards. So the empty houses in your chart are the areas where you need somebody to enter their energy. Like I just said, I don't have anything in Capricorn. The only thing I have in Taurus is my North Node. I have nothing in Virgo besides asteroids, no personal planets. When I say nothing, I'm talking about personal planets. They are the strong energy in your chart. Asteroids are just like the seasonings you add. It's the difference between you having chicken noodle soup and Venus and Mars and the sun being the noodles, the chicken, and the water for the pot. And then your Juno, your Vesta, and your Eros being the salt, pepper, or milk or whatever that you put into that, right? They help it, but they would be nothing without the base ingredients. So I have no planets in any earth things. My partner has no planets in any of the earth things. He has way more water, which is surprising, and I have more fire. So we helped each other emotionally, and because fire is about starting things, and as far as like motivating each other, I was trying to figure out the best way to say that. We're motivational to one another and emotionally healing. But as far as actually building, it only works when we combine our joint North Nodes and Taurus to create a wedding photography business. Taurus is about art, right? But if I had known what I know now and took that all into consideration, I would have saved myself a lot of trouble by checking for somebody who has planets that land in my empty houses. When you have somebody who has planets in your empty houses, that's going to inspire that energy in you, bring it out in you, something that you did not naturally have, but also fill in the gaps for what you're missing. So when I keep going back to this, one of you has a heart of gold and the other one is broken. The person with the heart of gold pours their energy into the parts of the other person that is broken, and it creates like a fully working wheel. I'm picturing two charts coming together that look sort of sparse on their own, like they're clusters of planets in different places. But when you put them together, like the composite or the energy that would be there is a setup of planets or asteroids in every single house so that it's fully balanced. Balance is not what we have been taught to think. A lot of the things we have been taught about relationships are projections. Even that Bible, that book I was telling you about with the rules in it, are projections of what other people feel that people should be doing or other humans should be doing based upon their own individual standard. A lot of us have not even been given the chance to decide what it is we want for ourselves because we have had these societal norms placed on us. Maybe this is what Pluto and Aquarius is about to change. Everybody being able to find their own unique way of handling things so that we won't walk around this place like bots assimilating unhappily, but instead everybody being individuals and okay with their unique way of existing, because only by being your authentic, unique self do you attract the person who fills in your empty boxes or who can handle that heart of gold. Some people can't, and some people can't handle a broken person. Somebody with a heart of gold more than likely can handle a broken person because it's like you have so much love to give and it's like an endless tap from source. So even when you get hurt, it just gets filled back in. You never lose anything. It's never taken from you because you're like hooked up to the ultimate like soda machine. It just like flows forever, as opposed to those that are broken and they don't have like a line to the soda machine. So they just need light. Now, I think the issue in here comes in if somebody never seeks to find their own light and they just keep pulling, sort of taking it for granted. It's supposed to be a supplement for a small amount of time before this person can start working on their own healing. I believe that both of these people come together to like level up. I'm picturing now that broken china thing. Let me see if I can find the. There was a meme thing. I think it was a meme thing, but it pretty much says, there it goes. In Japan, broken objects are often repaired with gold. The flaw is seen as a unique piece of the object's history, which adds to its beauty. Consider this when you feel broken. That's what I just started sensing. Like the energy fills in the cracks and you both become something better together, despite. And there's plenty of different variations of how it comes together. I love this so much, by the way. So, not every, no, I believe that we were, I believe. Oh, hold on. Isn't that like the term for Sagittarius season? It must already be kicking in. So, we were all programmed by the television programs we grew up watching. The idea of having that nuclear family. Even sort of kind of with Full House and like Danny Tanner, they gave us a household where there was multiple people and everybody loved each other and they worked through their problems together. But for the most part, it was mom, dad, kids, pet. Maybe an auntie or a grandma or something. I'm thinking about family matters right now. But they gave us these fairy tales, these perfect love stories that had to go through adversity or something. But in every one of the love stories, all of the problems were external. Like people trying to keep two people who would be perfectly matched for each other apart. What if the battle is no longer external? What if it's internal? What if the key is making sure that the couple is so stable internally that the outside factors can't bother them? I think maybe in the fairy tale versions, it was like the love was so strong between these two that everything in the world tried to pull them apart, but it could not because love was the bond that cannot be broken. I think that's wild. But maybe that was the message there. When love is real, it can't be destroyed. But that's not what TV gave us. TV gave us two perfect people that had like many arguments and still made it work out. They didn't give us like the way programming is now. And that seems to make people not want to be in relationships because they believe every relationship is trash. But I believe the generation I'm talking to, the Pluto and Scorpio generation, grew up with seventh heaven. Where the issues you had were like, I smoked one weed. Like it's very, very minimal, as opposed to like the secret life of teenagers. Man, I tried to watch that as an adult and I was like, this is crazy. Is this what they be doing out there? So nobody's perfect. Everybody's working through something. In the sessions I've been doing recently, I've noticed that the guys are sabotaging relationships because they don't believe that they can have both things. They have been focused on certain things they want to achieve for themselves. It doesn't matter how long they've been working on achieving these things. They're just constantly in, I must be this, I must do this, I have to get here, financial freedom, stability, blah, 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 right? And then when somebody comes along with love in the middle of that process, they feel like, oh my gosh, I got to choose between love or this. Like, I can't do both at the same time. And they end up acting like love is the distraction. Love is supposed to be the thing that fills in the broken parts that makes it grow stronger. Love only comes in when you're on the path to beginning something great. Like you'll hear all the time, there are people who are rich who get upset, like, dang, I done made it. Now I don't know who really wants me for me because I got all this money and this stuff. And so everybody's acting like they want to, everybody's acting like they want to be my partner. There have been a fine of a very large, and I said shouldn't be fine, a number of people who are not actively getting into the relationships they're manifesting. Like they're hoping, wishing, and praying for certain stuff, but when it comes along, they start thinking very much in their logic and going against their intuition. When if they paid attention to their intuition, they would realize that this was a part of their manifestation for what they wanted for the future. No person can just keep pushing themselves like a machine when they already have broke parts, or that makes the machine malfunction eventually. The broke parts will just break down. You did not get it maintenance, you did not get it serviced. I'm about to pull some cards now because this is absolutely, I believe, a relationship reading, or reading for people who are in relationships or want to understand the relationships they're in. Or if you're single and you're not in one, trying to understand why you're not in a relationship. Some people are manifesting love and rejecting it, and others are not trying to manifest love and trying to stay away from it because of other situations where they have been damaged, or they feel like they're broken, or they were the heart of gold and they kept attracting damaged people. They're like, I'm not doing this no more. Everybody I date is broken. Yes, because you are a healer with a heart that rebounds. Even in the time that you've been alone, after the last heartbreak, your heart has healed and you're better now. And you're probably so scared to get your heart broken again that you don't even want to try, not knowing that, hey, there is somebody who is a match for every time you rebound too. There are different levels. Nobody is going to get anybody who is completely perfect. And I think that's important for everybody to understand too. No kit, no IKEA person comes together fully together. I'm like, is there a big word for that? No, baby. No IKEA package, nothing that is of that caliber is already put together when you get it. Now, the longer you take in life to find your partner, the more likely you're able to find somebody who is aware of themselves and established and set in their ways. But it seems like everybody wants it instantaneously. Well, you must take somebody with their flaws, as you have your own too that are going to come out during these connections. Some people are shutting out love and it's throwing stuff off. Like I've seen a bunch of women lately, like, I'm not doing relationships anymore, especially with all the abortion stuff going on. I'm not doing relationships anymore. It's horrible. And that leaves a bunch of broken soldiers who are out there like, where's my wife? She has refused to date anybody else because the last couple of relationships whipped her ass, and she didn't know you were right around the corner. Decided she wasn't going to care anymore. She shut down her heart. The same as with the guys who are like, I must focus on money. But that has to do with that programming again. They feel like they have to be providers and a certain number of things have to be in place before they can even look at a woman now. And then they think like, hey, if I take a moment to not focus on my bread and actually be in love, then she's gonna leave me for somebody with money. It's a rough time for relationships. And I suppose that's why this empty houses thing came up. Just this rule of thumb or something for you to look at to understand. why this perfect person is like you, but not like you, but they balance you out, but they test you. Your empty houses are areas where you don't have experience. So it's going to feel uncomfortable when somebody has planets that comes into that area. It's called an overlay, synastry overlays, by the way. So for somebody like me, I don't have any earth. When somebody comes into like my Capricorn house with their structure, I used to hate Capricorn. Like, oh my gosh, they so fucking boring. But like now I have such a respect for somebody who can make themselves focus on one task long enough to build it into exactly what they thought in their mind. I could benefit from that energy like I do it, but it takes longer because I'm doing multiple things at a time because that's my design. But imagine if I had somebody who was like good at keeping stuff on task and in order and whatnot. You could even use this information in general for like your friendships or business partners, or if you're hiring like assistants and stuff like that, you need somebody who balances out your energy and fills in the areas where you're weak. There is nothing to be gained or developed from dating somebody who has the exact same design as you and you, although you might notice some things in your reflection that you want to clean up with you being that similar, but in general, there's not much growth that can be done. A lot of people avoid oppositions. But oppositions, when you learn to work two separate energies together, it's like a battery. Like, you know how the negative has to go with the positive and the positive has to go with the negative? That's what oppositions are like in your synastry chart. They push against each other, but they create a powerful tension as opposed to squares, which are old lessons that y'all still didn't learn and y'all have to re-deal with in this life. So what does the collective need to know about the state of relationships now, as we are on the last day of Scorpio season? And this really came up as the theme, I guess, because it's really important for the divine couples to get back together, to bring more of that love and gold into place. But we're struggling, y'all. People in relationships struggling, single people struggling. It just looks like. So I would like to see some positive results around that. Can I request that, God? Can we see some happy love stories and things that make people, because even the music doesn't make anybody want to fall in love again. I have personally been listening to John B lately, and it's just so lovely. Like, nobody makes music like that anymore. Nobody talks about love like that anymore because it's currently missing. The programming, the television, oh, the internet, all of that has given us a false idea of what it means to be human or what it means to be the perfect human and how you can be that. And everybody is just turning into one bot. So what is the message for the collective on love today? I'm doing this a little different, just popping them around. Let's see. Someone is wearing a mask. Yes, that's the vibe. Your intuition is not logic. Logic is the collection of data that has been stored in your mind since birth about your observations during your experience. Your intuition is something greater than that. It's something outside of that. Like the way that I sometimes come up with or hear a word in my head and I have to Google it because I don't actually know it. My logic doesn't know it. It's not in my database, but I am streaming from the database of all information, which is your intuition, which can give you a cheat pass, a cheat code. Like, hey, take this way. Like GPS, as opposed to you going based off your memory. And like, I thought this was here, but you didn't get the update, baby. Something changed. So logic is the mask behind which a lot of people, love is not logical, guys. A lot of people are hiding behind the mask of logic. Well, this doesn't make sense, so I shouldn't do it. My intuition is saying doing this, but as soon as I turn around, I'm like, hold on. No, that doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that? Working against the God in you. Your intuition is the God in you. Your logic is the man, the ego, the human. And everybody else's projections is just, or just other logical things thrown into your database. Every now and then you'll get somebody who is good at telling you something from their heart or giving advice that is outside of their thoughts on what their life is or how it turned out for them. But I guess that's why it's important that you value those people that have hearts of gold, because they are rare. There are a lot more broken people than people with the hearts of gold at this time. So it's like musical chairs. If you can get one, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. What's the next card? I've had the same spread come up before. So there's one beautiful area over here. Two bridges. One is a cycle of logic, and this is for the man or the woman or the whatever. One path is you sticking to your logic, sticking to your cycles, sticking to the emotional addictions, because you want to go with what you know, what you already experienced. Like, oh, I've been with the same type of person 3 times. Love is not for me. I'm not messing with it. That's that logical path, as opposed to the other one with intuition that says, just maybe. I can even say the path of hope. Intuition is hope. It's faith without sight. Because this first one is deception and then staying in codependent cycles. But the other one, which I'm feeling is the intuitive one, is honeymoon and true love. Like completely different feelings from each side here. So you are being presented 2 paths at this time based upon this. And all the information I had, like, oh, okay, let me get into it. I love when every day feels like a riddle or a puzzle for me. Like I'm figuring out the pieces, and it's like everything is exciting. And I was missing that for a while. Like I remember when I was a wedding photographer, I would wake up all the time like coronation day. And that's like a thing from Frozen. But it's just like every day, like what is possible? What can I do today? What can I make happen? And for a while, I wasn't feeling that. I was getting up feeling like, all right, another day. This is what I got to do today. And I've just started getting back that, oh my goodness, what are the possibilities? What am I going to learn today? What is the puzzle piece of the day? Because every day has one different piece, I noticed. Solving the matrix has definitely kept me on my toes. So what is the theme of today's message? What was the theme of today's message? I wrote that stuff down, then I did the shufflemancy thing, all just because my intuition was telling me to do it. But what is the theme here? There's something to this. Carrying connections. Love. Didn't even see that card, but I was like, oh, of course, love. Taking action in carrying connections in regards to love. I'll take that because it seems to be the cure for anxiety. To finally find someone you can rest in. You don't know, my mind is wild. Like rest in, that's crazy. You just don't fall asleep in. So, all right. I don't think I'm ever going to grow up, and it's probably a good thing. So the theme of this whole time is relationships. Is what's going on in the relationship collective right now. The 2 paths that we are standing at. Somebody can keep wearing a mask, which I am sensing now, is the ego, the identity that they have created for themselves, and to keep living the way that they have been living. And that codependency to me feels like half in, half out. Whatever relationship, whatever connections they're doing, this person or this energy, they would rather be in like partial connections that make them feel comfortable because they know that person sort of kind of, but it's not going anywhere. It's not deep. But they're addicted to the feeling that comes along with that. Like, hey, I'm actually really focused over here, but I'll just drop in every now and then on this. So I don't have to give myself over to anything. Almost doesn't count. Just started playing in my head. You can't keep doing stuff 1 foot outside the door. You're not going to ever make it home. And that was the last card on there. It was home and happy family. And the other one, the other path, the intuitive one, and it seems so easy. Like when you go through hard stuff a lot, it makes it really hard to think that anything could be easy, but that's that logic again. When you talk to God or when you tap into intuition, it's like, Why couldn't it be? Why can't it be your time? Why can't you have good things too? Because this true love is laid up. There's even like an angel holding it down in the background. Like, look at these two. Get a room. But who doesn't want to get a room love? Like, oh my gosh, y'all are so annoying. Get them from. Y'all are always in each other's faces. Yes, we are. That's love, baby. So I'm going to pull for just a general message here and close this out. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where I should categorize this video. Because it's not girl talk. Channel message, collective message. Let's just get my day started over here. I'm going to pull from the Akashic Tarot. What's going on with the cup? What is going on with the state of love in the world currently? What is going on with the state of love in the world currently? The Akashic Library. That's one of the times when it's like, okay. Okay, so entering the library. Notice I had to snap everything. All right, we're getting in there, going somewhere. Fix my little thing for dress. Bra won't stay because my boobs and stuff, and it's just like weighing down my bra, so it starts to pull in. Like, I don't even know what size bra I actually wear. Like, it got to the point that I just had to like wear a huge sports bra. So, they got bigger with every kid, and I had 4 kids. I started off with triple D's though, so y'all just needed to know that, because whatever. So the Akashic Library that we have just entered currently has us listed as on track. Those following their intuition, this is will, wisdom, and mind. So I guess finding, that's difficult to say. I'm about to say finding the logic in your intuition, finding your intuition is logical. Okay, I can see that. It's like, dang, it's only logical for me to trust my intuition because that will lead me in the right direction. Like that, as opposed to, well, that makes sense based upon my past data. No. For new things, you have to disregard your past data. Like, remember the lessons, but don't take it so it like holds you from trying things. You don't want to get stuck in the space of same old, same old. No, you want to try new things occasionally when the opportunity is presented to you. So this will, wisdom, and mind is aligning your words with your thoughts and your actions and your intuition, getting on track, right? Because it seems like that's the person getting the keys to their house. Like, you see that over there, that castle. I talk to y'all about a castle all the time. Coming to the door is what that feels like. Am I tripping? No, that's actually there. There's like an orb in the middle of that I never noticed before. But look, the other card here was the healer, the divine physician, right? That's like the same orb, but instead of it being the guiding light outside of his body, you see here, it's now inside of him. It's in his hands. So this is somebody following their intuition as if it were their logic, like trusting God over themselves, right? And that gets them on the track. Because this is the card underneath. That's the same color. It's like this person will be streaming, but this collective, this energy will be streaming the Akashic records through them. Kind of like what I'm doing now, but it's like this person just does it naturally. Like, they don't have to know how, like the way I know all this stuff and I can explain it to you. This person's just going to do it, and they're just going to be like, that's just what it felt like I should do, because their intuition is going to become their new logic, if you will. This is clearly somebody's special gift set. gifts that like they're spiritual gifts. Like their spidey senses work this way. I don't know how I know, but I just know it and I go with it because it's been leading me. A lot of times I thought this was going to go out this way and I went with my logic and it didn't go how I wanted it to. But I noticed the more that I went with my intuition, things started going better. So now it is only logical for me to go with my intuition over my thought processes because my thought processes were rigged to work against me. That's what I completely felt off of this. This is somebody or a group of people who are going to take the opportunity to hop forward. Well, that's nice to know. Because right now, I was like, man, everybody is sort of stuck. The last one on here, the last two was Queen of Scrolls and Initiation. Aha, I got it. All right. I was just explaining one of you is broken, one has a heart of gold. This divine physician energy, whoever is carrying that, the person who was broken, who is working on healing and moving towards becoming a healer themselves, is coming to meet or meant to meet or line up with an energy that is helping them through initiation. This is the two worlds card. This is bringing two separate worlds together. That's the heart of gold coming into that broken glass I was talking about. This is the river fighting the rock. Because doesn't like the rock clean the river too? What do rocks do for rivers? Let's see if there's actually an answer for that. What do rocks do in rivers? Is that the right way to say that? In rivers, rocks primarily act as a natural barrier, shaping the flow of the water by creating rapids and eddies, filtering sediments from the water, providing habitat for aquatic life, and contributing to the overall erosion process by being gradually worn down by the moving water over time. Essentially, they help define the river's path and maintain a healthy ecosystem with it. The erosion is what just got me. Oh, that almost put me in my feelings, y'all. Because I thought the other one was the last card. The card underneath that was, but this is the outcome. Over time, the rock gets worn down and it becomes a part of the river, and then they just like flow in perfect balance because their energies have merged into something that is greater than the two of them. I love this, y'all. This ain't even me. This is not me at all. This is me filtering the answer and being surprised with y'all because that's beautiful. Something great. It came full circle. That's another good way to know if you are going in the right direction. We serve a God of completion, right? There's always an aha moment or a finale or some sort of punctuation. God doesn't leave you with a question mark. You might have one for a while, but you will get your clarity when it comes from source. When not, you will be left in confusion. So that is the end of this message. Somebody needed to hear this to keep their hope up or to open their heart up or to move towards something they're supposed to be moving towards. Because there are blockages, and those blockages are blocking love from coming in. It's meant to come through the hearts of the people. Because once you find a relationship, when you're with somebody and you're like, oh, I love you, then you start to love everything. I don't know if y'all know this. When you're in love, you're like, oh, look at that tree. Look at this plate. Like everything is beautiful. And then suddenly you're like, I need to heal the trees because love just makes you sensitive and open to everything. And that's what we need on this planet right now. More people who are in love with each other, in love with their jobs, in love with their children and their family and their lives. And that is a change that is worth going through the difficulties to have, right? So this was today's whatever random message.